For centuries on end, there have been a lot of misconceptions about demons, how they operate, what they look like, how they treat human beings, and almost all of these preconceived notions that people have about demons are negative, and that they're just evil creatures, and that they work for the Christian devil, and that their sole purpose is to go around tempting people into sinning and doing things that are against God, and trying to persuade people to give up their faith and come to the devil. And there's also a misconception that demons are almost required to, and that they enjoy possessing people against their will to try to force that person to become a sinner and lose their faith in God. And that they enjoy doing it so that they can blaspheme the name of the Lord and mock priests and clergymen and stuff like that. And that is really just a load of bullshit. None of that is even remotely true. For one thing, the word evil is just something that humans made up. If you think about it, there really is no such thing as good and evil. Good and evil are just concepts that we made up to label things that we perceive to be bad or good. Now, a lot of the times, people will try to use demons as scapegoats. They will do something horrible, something awful that really doesn't have anything to do with religion. It's even people that aren't religious would see this as something horrible. And they try to say, the devil made me do it. A demon made me do it. I was possessed. I couldn't help it. It wasn't my fault. It was out of my control. People have always been using religion and, the devil and things like that for centuries to try to make excuses for bad things that they've done, because they just don't have the balls to fess up and say, yeah, I did it. There's something wrong with me. Can I get some psychiatric help, please? They try to say, oh, no, the devil made me do it, so I shouldn't get punished for what I did because I couldn't help it. I was forced to do this. For another thing, when it comes to possession, demons cannot possess any human being without their expressed consent. Now, there's what is called, there's a tacit pact, and then there's an illicit pact. Tacit pacts are when you speak something out loud to a demon, and it's just sort of like an idea, but you've made it clear to that demon that you do want this at some point in the future, and that you are going to be willing at some point to sign a piece of paper to make that agreement official. And an illicit pact is when you actually sign a piece of paper and create a contract. Depending on how you address the demon, what kind of relationship you have with them, they can possess you with either a tacit or an illicit pact. But they cannot take over your body until you give them permission in some way. Spirits, ghosts, demons, they all have like an unwritten code that they have to follow. They have a certain set of laws and standards that they have to live by. And basically one of their laws is that they cannot take someone over without permission. Now, you can actually give a demon permission if you want. You can say something like, at any point in the future, you can come and possess me whenever you want without my consent from here on out. But I give you consent now to possess me as much as you want. Now, you could actually do something like that if you wanted to, but they cannot take you over without permission. So people who have said that they're possessed and that, the demon took over them against their will, they're either doing one of a few different things. They're either lying because they're trying to use the demon as a scapegoat to get out of trouble for something bad that they've done. They're lying because they're supposed to be a religious person that goes to church, and they've messed up horribly, and they are scared to death that their family is going to know they're a sinner. So they are using the demon as a scapegoat to say, I did it, but it wasn't my fault. That way their religious friends do not reject them. And that way they'll still be an accepted member of their church. And people that sit there and scream and curse the name of the Lord and pee all over the place and all that crazy stuff that you would expect to see on the Exorcist movies, that kind of stuff is fake. That kind of stuff does not happen with demonic possession. If people are doing that, it's because they're either psychotic and they're having some kind of crazy delusion in their mind where they think something is making them do that, or that's how they have to act, or they are just really trying to, get into an acting role and play the part of that character to really convince people that they are possessed. Because people that are really possessed, they don't act like that. You can't even tell when a person is possessed by looking at them. People that murder people and have this look of just pure evil and hatred in their eyes, that try to say that the devil or a demon made them do something. They're just making that up so they can get an insanity plea, so they can just spend the rest of their life in a mental hospital instead of being put to death for the murders that they committed. So there's always some sort of excuse there. I mean, when demons possess people with their permission, they don't act like that. They will have conversations with you. Thoughts and ideas will pop into your mind, but it's not things where, like they're trying to force you to do evil, heinous crimes and stuff. It'll be thoughts and ideas pertaining to questions you ask them, or things related to your magical ascent. If you're trying to learn spells, if you're trying to train yourself on a new path or system, information like that will flow to you. And you will also notice that you'll have a heightened state of awareness, almost like if you were to take some stimulants, like, something like an ADHD medication, you will have a heightened awareness. Your senses may also be heightened. You may be able to hear better, see a little bit further than usual. And creativity tends to overtake people who are possessed. They can write a lot easier. Ideas for songs and music and drawings and things like that come to your head so much more. Also, if you like to contemplate theories on like the universe, how we got here, what is matter really, weird scientific nerdy stuff like that, the answers will come to you. Or if you find the answers online, you're suddenly able to understand really difficult concepts about physics and things like that you never could understand before, but suddenly you can understand it. Foreign languages come easier to you. So, I mean, if anybody is acting really crazy or insane and tries to tell you that they're possessed, they are full of shit. And they are making it up for whatever reason. Now, the misconception that all demons are evil, that is not true. Like I said, evil is just a word that humans made up to assign roles, because humans always have to assign roles to people. Are you poor class, middle class, upper class? Are you fat, skinny, blah, blah, blah? We're always trying to assign people to groups and classes and roles and stereotypes. And it's no different when it comes to religion or, the occult, magic. And some people like being put into groups because, it makes them feel like they're a better person or like they're better than other people. It helps them with their ego, pretty much. It's just an egocentric thing that people do. Most of the demons that I know and have worked with and other people have worked with are very friendly. They're very positive creatures. And they can be a little strict, but that's because they want to teach you. They like to teach. They like to educate you on everything, every type of subject you could think of, especially when it comes to magic and how the universe works and science. Demons absolutely go crazy over those types of topics, really intelligent topics. They absolutely love it when you get immersed and, you get into what they're saying and you pay attention to them. And, some of them are a little more strict because they're like, I don't like goofing off and I don't like when you're trying to be humorous with me. If you want me to teach you something, I will teach you everything you need to know about this subject. But you're going to listen to me. You're going to take me seriously. And we're going to get through this quick. We're not going to stop and chit-chat. We're not going to stop and have jokes and comedy hour and stuff like that. You're going to take this serious. And if you don't, they will leave. Some demons may even ask you to sacrifice things. And I don't mean killing people or anything crazy like that. Some demons will say, you are a cigarette smoker and you smoke 3 packs a day, and that's just fucking ridiculous because, they don't need that kind of stuff. They don't need the same kind of crutches and habits and addictions that humans feel like we need in order to get through our day and function right. So, in one way, they sort of understand that we can't really help it because we're not made like them, but in other ways, they don't understand it because they're not made like us, so they don't understand what that's like. So sometimes they will say, I know that's bad for you, it's killing you, And if you want me to teach you and help you, you're going to do something for me. You're going to quit smoking, whether you like it or not. And I'm not going to work with you until you do. So some demons will actually ask you to make sacrifices that you might not like at the time, but these are sacrifices that are actually really good for you in the long run. And they want to see if you're serious enough to actually give up one of those addictions or crutches to not only help yourself, but just to prove to them how serious you are about wanting their help. The first demon that comes to mind, Belial. He is one of those that is more... he knows how to joke. He has a good sense of humor. But when it comes down to it, he's all about, let's get down to business. He might joke with you for like a split second of a minute, and then he's immediately like, all right, shut up, let's get back to work. And he's also one of those, he doesn't like to work with people that are in the very beginner stages that don't know anything about what they're doing. There are other demons that are extremely friendly and sweet. They're very protective over humans when you form a bond or a pact with them. And, they're very easygoing. They're gentle. They actually enjoy training beginners because they like to take the credit for being able to help that person get started and really get off the ground with their magical ascension. And, those demons usually have a more laid-back attitude. They're not strict. They don't get upset with you easily if you're not catching on right away. They will be patient with you and work with you as long as it takes, just as long as they know you are taking them seriously and what they're teaching you seriously, because demons have no concept of time. That is a human thing. So to them, you could literally sit there for 10 minutes and be like, I'm just not understanding this, and have them repeat something to you 10 times, and they won't get upset, because 10 times to them, that was like a split second of a second to them. There are other demons that just have like a really good sense of humor, and they do like to joke and carry on. And there's also demons that like to joke and carry on so much that you can't really go to them if you're wanting, serious education. They're more the type that you just call upon when you're bored, you want somebody to talk to, and you want to keep practicing at developing your astral sight and senses. Those are good demons to practice on, because they'll joke with you, they'll have a good time, and it's just someone to talk to. Like they don't mind just chit-chatting just for the heck of it. And then there are a very small class of demons that are somewhat hateful, and they just really don't like working with anybody. It wouldn't matter what kind of creature you were. If you were able to contact them and to communicate with them, they don't like working with anyone unless it's quick, to the point, and they're going to get something out of it in return. To briefly get back to what I was saying about people thinking that demons possess them and take them over to try to, force them away from their religious beliefs. Demons don't even like to work with religious people. They don't even want to be around religious people, because they don't even think that kind of stuff is real. They know that religious people use them and their names to try to convince their followers that hell is real and that there's punishment and, eternal afterlives and stuff like that. They know it. They could care less about religion. So, the last thing they're going to do is possess someone just so they can stay in their body for 2 weeks straight, saying, F you, Jesus, blah, blah, blah. That's the last thing that they have interest in. In fact, they sit there and they laugh about stuff like that, because they think it's just so ridiculous that people could believe in stuff like that. But yes, demons typically only want to work with people that consider themselves magicians, witches, sorcerers, or people that are just, they don't practice magic, but maybe they're just really deeply involved with the occult and paranormal and things like that. They don't even waste their time with religious people. So like I said before, there is no way that they're going around possessing Christians against their will just for the thrill of being able to curse at their God. Because they won't even go around people like that or work with them. So they're the only people that have access to and communicate with real demons are, like I mentioned, people that do magic, people that just are interested in the occult and the paranormal, maybe psychics, things like that. It is possible to be possessed against your own will, but not by demons. This is where 99% of people that believe in this kind of stuff get it wrong. You can be possessed by certain types of spirits that will possess you against your will. They do enjoy cursing the name of the Lord because they have enough infinite knowledge. They've seen TV shows. They know that religious people fear this kind of stuff. They think they find it funny to sit there and scare religious people. And they just hate humans in general. They just like to cause a lot of mishap because they genuinely enjoy it. They're sadistic. And there's normally only two types of spirits that can do this. There are non-demonic spirits that are just, they're sort of like ghosts, but they're not human. They never were human, but they are malicious entities. They are just, bad energy floating around. That poltergeist is one of the types of entities that I'm talking about. They just like to cause destructions. The other type are human entities. People that were human when they were alive, but they died and became a wandering spirit. And that's normally people that, I know you've probably heard this term many times on television and movies, but they have unfinished business, or maybe they died in a really negative, nasty way. Maybe someone killed them. Maybe they just led a really bad life and didn't get a chance to do what they wanted, and maybe they felt like they hurt a lot of people, didn't get a chance to apologize to anyone because they died suddenly. For whatever reason, those people were very negative in their life, or they have unfinished business. And when they die, they are aware that they are sort of stuck in between the worlds. And their entire mission is to basically destroy and wreak havoc until someone gets rid of them. And there are also positive entities that can get stuck in between the worlds. And they're just looking for someone to intervene and help them finish what they needed to finish and get to the other side. But these entities, the darker ones, the negative ones, they don't want to get to the other side. They don't want to cross over. They want to stay here and wreak havoc on as many people as they possibly can, because they enjoy tormenting people and scaring the living hell out of people. These are the types that you need to absolutely banish and make them gone for good. Those are the types that will possess you against your will and take you over. And I know, because I've had it happen to me before. And I'm telling you, it was not pretty. Also, shadow people. That's another one of those types of entities I was telling you about, where it was never human at any point in time, but they're sort of like a ghost or a poltergeist, but they're just really negative, and they can resemble the form of a human when they're accidentally caught in photographs and things like that, or if you see them out of the corner of their eyes. They call them shadow people because they have the shape of a human body, but all you ever see is a dark black or gray or sometimes even white shadow that looks like the shadow of a person. Those are probably the absolute worst that you can encounter. I mean, a lot of those ghost hunting shows on TV, they'll say, it's a demon. But that's because they don't know any better. They're ignorant. That's what they've been told to believe. And a lot of the times they say it's a demon because those ghost hunting shows are staged and fake. They are all like that. No matter how honest and genuine and true those people seem on there, it's all staged and faked. Get online, read reports about, is such and such ghost hunting show faked? And you will find all kinds of reports. You will find people that worked on that show that'll say, I quit working for the show because I found out they were lying to people and they were telling the psychics everything beforehand to try to make it look real, and it was fake. And being a good person, I couldn't be around that anymore. I couldn't support that. You will find articles like that all over the internet. And I'm not going to mention any show names here, but, just look it up. You'll see what I'm talking about. But a lot of the times, the people on those shows, when something bad is happening, they will always say that it's a demon. Just because it's thrill factor. It's what gets people afraid. It gets people interested, and it gets their attention immediately. Demon, they're like, oh, this is going to be a good episode. Wow. I mean, their mission to bring up their TV show ratings and get people scared and on the edge of their seat and stuff is destroying the name of actual demons out there and making them look like these horrible creatures when they're not. I mean, demons are just energy. Some of them are thought forms that were created because we thought them into existence. Others were actually here before then. And, as far as the difference between thought forms and pre-existing entities, that's something I will save for another discussion because it's very lengthy.